I'm Chrissie. Welcome to Chrissie Crafts. Come and see what's on my hook and needles, what's in my hoop, and what's happening at home. Hi, I'm Chrissie. I live on the border of Surrey and West Sussex in the United Kingdom. A warm welcome if you're a new viewer and a big hug if you're a returning viewer. Welcome back. I hope you've all had a wonderful Christmas season and a very happy new year and are getting stuck into all the activities that a new year brings. Like so many other podcasters, I think I'd planned on doing a lot more videos before Christmas. I don't know why I even entertained that idea. December, in general for crafters, is hugely busy and absolutely crazy. But then I do some choral singing on top of that, and choir singers and musicians in general during Christmas. Well, forget it. You're always off singing somewhere, doing some gig somewhere, some carol singing somewhere else. It was fantastically fun, but very busy, but a good busy. We had a great Christmas and a really super duper new year, and I'm very happy to be back now, finally recording a video. It got so crazy, I kept thinking, oh, I'll have to talk about this, I'll talk about that. And I thought, you know what, just record something, get something out there, and then we'll get stuck into all the new projects and things. So, without further ado, let's talk about some crafts. First, what has been on my hook? So, my last video, everybody remembers the Yarn Chicken Triumph with the rainbow cushion I was making for my 8-year-old. Here it is. I gave it to her for Christmas. Isn't that super duper? So all the details for everything I talk about will be in the show notes below. And you'll remember this if you've watched before. This was a mini skein set of yarn from Mothie and the Squid that I got at Yarndale. And the pattern was from Celine at Crafty CC. She did a chunky version with fewer colors, but I saw that, I thought I have to make that with this skein. These colors are so bright, aren't they lovely? There, I left it on. That was how much red I had left when I got to the end of it. And I said last time I was possibly going to weave it in, but no, I want that as my trophy that I won big time at Yarn Chicken. I'll never have that kind of luck again. I'm sure I've jinxed it. But these pom-poms, aren't they just lovely? They just make it so squishy and lovely. She adores it. She has it on her bed and she cuddles it every night. And I'm just delighted with how this turned out. So thank you, Celine, for a super duper pattern. It's made my little girl very happy indeed. There were lots of gifts I gave away. And again, I was hoping to record them before I gave them away, but I just ran out of time. So I'll insert some pictures where appropriate. One of the favorite things I gave away that I'm going to make for myself, the cover of the Accessories Project, Book 1 from the Crochet Project. This is Joanne's Grace, and these are her mittens. I'm going to make the matching hat as well, but I made the fingerless mittens for a very dear friend of mine. And they were very well received. My friend really liked them, and they were so fun to make. I just love the patterns that they do. Repetitive enough to make it really easy and memorable, but new enough and changeable enough that it's, I don't know, it just keeps your interest. It never becomes mindless. It's very beautiful. And then I used some beautiful yarn with those mittens. I think I have some, didn't take much yarn. This is an Eden Cottage yarns. I'll put the details in the notes. I probably have enough of this left to make myself a set in this color, but where is it? Oh, here. I want to make the hat and mittens set with another Eden Cottage yarns. I love this. This is Pendle 4-ply. The color is Heliotrope. I got this at Yarndale. I think earlier on I've showed it before here. I'm sure I've committed it to something else, but I think I'm recommitting it to this because I really love the hat and the mittens. I'm not sure how the hat will look. I do not have a hat head. I have an extremely dorky hat head, and whenever I put on any hat, it just looks ridiculous on me, but I'm going to give it a go. And if it doesn't look good, then I'll just give it to my daughter, or give it to a friend or somebody who has a nice head for hats. I probably need some kind of giant pom-pom to balance out the chubby cheeks. So we'll see. Maybe I'll put a big pom-pom on it. Moving swiftly on, I got some Yarny Gifts for Christmas. Not too much because, well, Unravel's coming up. I'll talk more about that later, but I'm going to Unravel. Are you going? It's in Farnham in February. So it's very, very close to where I live. So it'd be rude not to go every day. So I'll probably show up every day. Let me know if you're going and I'll happily come meet anybody. But anyway, the tree of conversation is branching so much. Back to my old self. Look at this. This was in my stocking. It is Ba Ram Yu. It is, look at those colors. Ooh. These are to make it has a little, anyway, there's a little insert with some stripy fingerless mitten pattern that I've taken out to start looking at, and I don't know where I put it. But they're for knitted fingerless mittens in stripe, and it'll be good practice for me with my knitting. But I love the colors. My local yarn shop, Pins and Needles, had these kits in a number of different colors. I walked in, I looked, I said, I'll take that. I think it was probably in early November or something. And I just gave it to my husband. I said, tuck this away for Christmas for me because this will make me very happy. And it does. I've already taken out the mitten thing, but the yarn is so soft. It is so soft and very squishy. So I'm very much going to enjoy knitting up some mittens with that. Merry Christmas. Now, I have made a New Year's resolution to myself that I do, I'm sure, every year, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who does this, to finish some whips. I will, but literally, like, I am going to really try to be a monogamous crafter because it's just getting crazy. I'm doing a bit of a clear out and reorganization of my craft room where I am sitting right now. I'm not going to show you any other part of it because it's chaos. But I started finding whips that are like ridiculously old and stuff I really missed that I kind of forgot about. And I'm not even going to show you I have them all lined up here. Probably at least 7 little craft bags, project bags with things in them. And it's a bit silly because I'm going to yarn shows, I'm finding new yarn, I'm loving things. So I really, really, really do need to finish some things. So I'm stating it out loud. I'm going to try to be monogamous as possible. So I'm worried it's going to be really boring though if I'm just showing the same photos on Instagram and here every time I record just this again and this again. But I've got to just persevere. So one of the things I was working on at Christmas time was the Sea Shawl. I've talked about this before, by my friend Sarah from Annaboo's house with the lovely tassels. And I'm making it with her hand-dyed, natural dyed yarn, a mini skein set in my lovely little, this is a gorgeous little bag that really, really portable. I got this from, I can't remember where, years ago. So I have a handful of little mini skeins, but I'm on the 3rd skein now, which is progress. Look, so it's very quick to work up because I just started it over Christmas. And so this was the first colorway that was a lovely pale pink and bluey color. It's very springy because I figure by the time I get finished with it, it'll be springtime. Oh, that's my phone. Anyway, it's very spring colors that I chose because I'll get it finished around springtime. This next one has a very soft lavendery color. It's hard to see here. And a buttery yellow. And the one thing I have to do, because it's mini skeins I'm working on now, what have I started on? Now I'm on this one. Because it's mini skeins that I'm working with, I have to make sure, like when this is halfway through, I have to kind of keep weighing it to then start decreasing, because I have 2 and then 1 in the middle and then 2 to decrease. Where's that last one? Here he is. There we go. I need to make sure I don't run out of yarn, and so I'm going to keep weighing that, but that's a lovely little quick project, an easy repeat, but hard to fit back in the bag. I'll get that later. Another thing that I was working on, already I'm backtracking on my monogamy resolution statement. So as little projects and little charity projects and crochet alongs come up, I'll happily join in with those. And one of them was the Little Hearts for Grace crochet along, to make little granny squares for a blanket for a project called Little Hearts for Grace. It's via Lottie and Albert Lindsay and Jen from Just Little Jen. The details are on Lindsay's blog, Lottie and Albert. And there are about 9 different patterns for little heart squares of hearts of varying types. I would show you all of them that we've made, but they're all on their way to Lindsay and Jen now. And they're getting all these together, and they're going to make one big blanket, and to raffle it off, it's helping a children's heart charity, and it's to help a friend where they live. Anyway, my crochet clubs have committed every January to do crocheting for charity, because in December everybody's still making things for friends and family and it's crazy busy, but in January it's a bit quieter, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice every January to do something for a worthy cause and to reach out and help others through crochet. And so this year we've chosen the Little Hearts for Grace, and the nice thing about it was kind of a win-win, because there are at least a dozen squares going to Lindsay and Jen, and at the same time the patterns that they had made from various designers are all really fun, and a lot of my crochet club members were able to learn new techniques and try something new, because I just brought a lot of yarn, my own yarn, along and just threw it all in the middle of the table, and everybody was just testing out things, and it was really fun because they were able to learn some new designs, some new techniques. Some of them really love the squares so much they're going to make their own blankets out of them. So yeah, it was a really, really good time. I'll put a picture in to show you some of the squares so you know what I'm rambling on about. But I think there's still time to get involved. So if you would like to make a square or two, then hop over to Lindsay's website and you can join in as well. Now back to the monogamy. What's on my needles? Because I'm being monogamous, literally, I was just going to show the one crochet thing I'm working on. I know you're all aware that there's like a whole big bunch of other crochet projects. You're probably wondering where the vintage granny cardie is, and oh, I don't know what else, but well, I know what else. It's all down there looking up at me. But I'm not going to show any of that because I've been working just on the shawl. But I have got back to knitting. So let me show you. Oh, it's right here. This in my So Sweet Violet project bag that I adore. So I had not been able to pick up my knitting for a long time during the Christmas season because I'm still a beginner knitter and still learning, and if I had the odd moment to do any crafting, like between choir performances, I'd sit and work on a project. It has to be crochet that's just really easy to pick up and work on without trying to figure out my tension and am I doing the technique right. So, but we went away after Christmas and spent New Year's with my husband's family in Norway. He's half Norwegian, half English, and I just thought I'm taking my knitting and that's it. And so on the plane and up in Norway, I was able to work on the Match and Move shawl in the garter stitch, and it's all wrinkled up, but look, I've changed colors again. Yay, look, I'm getting there. It's to the point now where the way the shawl is designed, the lighting's not very good today. I haven't really looked at myself in this camera yet. It was really bright in here when I first started. Now it's gone all a bit overcast outside. Anyway, this goes along, this keeps going up pointy, and this starts going asymmetrical, like goes along the side and kind of cuts off the rows. I can't explain anything that has anything to do with angles or maths or anything, so you'll just have to watch and see how it grows. But basically what I'm telling you is that this is the right way. I'm not forgetting to do something or ending a stitch wrong. This keeps going pointy and that levels off. But I'm getting really used to the garter stitch, that's for darn sure. And I haven't sewn in ends yet. I probably should do that. But it's a lot smoother now, and now I can happily sit down in the evening and just, you know, knit along with this and watch some telly or visit with my family and enjoy it. Like I kind of, yeah, I enjoy it very much. And the nice thing is I made a mistake a few rows back, but I knew what I did. I didn't know how to fix it, mind you, but I recognized what happened when I did it. And that sounds silly, but to me it's a mark of progress, because there at the very beginning, I don't know what any of these are, and I don't know what happened here. I don't know what that was, and I don't know down here what happened here. But when one of the stitches went wrong here, I was able to look at it and think, I know exactly how I did that wrong. It was just doing, I put the needle in it in a wrong way, but I recognized that I did it. I didn't know how to fix it. So that'll be the next step that'll get me closer to being a confident knitter. But at least I knew, do you know what I mean? Like when I'm teaching crochet workshops, somebody will say they did something wrong. I'm like, well, if you're able to recognize what you did wrong, you'll know you won't do it that way again. So it's a step, because, like I said down here, I don't know what I did there. Well, that's a beginner thing. Whereas I say, I know what happened here. That's progress. So I know I won't do that again. Or at least not consciously. Or the next thing is to know how to correct it. But that's all in good time. So I'm monogamously knitting my Match and Move shawl in very bright, yummy colors. Now, this is yarn that I bought from Hillview Farms at Unravel last year. And it had sat for quite a while waiting for a project with it. I'm going to take this along to Unravel this year to show her, because she'll be there again, and I want to see what I'm doing with her beautiful yarn. I would love to say I'll wear it there, but I don't want to, well, I just don't think that's going to happen, because I'm still quite slow. I mean, I'm enjoying it, and it's much more smooth the way I'm knitting, but it's still slow. But I'm loving it. I'm really loving it. Yay! So I'm going to try to stay monogamous with that, even though I have about 4 knitting projects lined up beside this one. This light's really bugging me. Should I try to fix it? Sorry, that light was just really annoying me, so I had to turn on a brighter light, because I just felt really vampiric. It was just a bit too dark all over the place. And I have some yarn to show you. So one of the things before Christmas, it was a late night. I was overtired, but I was still buzzing from a concert I just sung in. So I was just trolling around Instagram and Etsy and whatnot, and I bought some yarn on a whim. It is lovely. It was a surprise pack down Sheepy Lane. It was The Shining. It was based on the book The Shining, Stephen King, which I love. And I thought, yarn based on a horror book, I have to get that. And so when it came, it's the hotel, influenced by the hotel, the rug, the carpeting. And then, of course, there's the blood red and the black and all that. It's down Sheepy Lane. This is called the Overlook Hotel. It is sturdy sock, 25% blue face Leicester, 25% nylon, or 75% blue face Leicester. And look. Oh, it's gorgeous. But the funniest bit with it, there's a fabulous tag. There's a fabulous stitch marker. I don't know how she finds these things. This is such a treat. It said, here is Johnny, and the stitch marker is an axe. If you don't like horror films, I'm really sorry, because this is all just, oh, it's grim, but I love it. And then I also got a little pin shining. Look at him. And there is some toffee nut Nescafe, and one of the tags said, "All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy." It was just so clever. This is her Stephen King sock club that she has running. Here, it's Debbie. Debbie from down Sheepy Lane. Sorry for the noise. I'll put her details all below because she is just delightful and her yarns are just so fun. And of course, this club is just genius. The fourth installment of the Stephen King Sock Club is The Shining. The yarn is inspired by the carpet in the Overlook Hotel. Hope you like. I love this, Debbie. It is so brilliant. I'm just chuffed with that. So that'll go in the gallery. Maybe not right by that one. I got to put it over by the fiery colors. But thanks, Debbie. So that is all for the yarn goodness right now, but I have some big news for the embroidery section. So let's get to it. What's in my hoop? So some exciting news that happened in my embroidery life. Before Christmas, my friend Carina came out with her next embroidery book called Mandalas to Embroider. And it is gorgeous. This is great for beginners and experienced embroiderers. The designs are stunning. She's so good with her designs. I love everything she does. There's just tons of them. Tiny mini hoops that are really cute, big ones. And in the back of the book, she has them all like iron-on transfers. So straight away, my daughter has chosen one or two that she wants on a new sweatshirt she's got. We're going to put one at the back, like right at the neckline in the back, and then maybe one down low. So I'll keep you posted on that. They're really fun to stitch, but I did help her with this a little bit. And where is it? Hold on. She asked me if I would be interested, and so I did that for her. Help stitch a cushion to show that the mandalas can be done in single colors as well, and she sent it back to me. So here's the cushion. That mandala was so wonderful to stitch. You see it obviously in loads of different colors, but as one color, I think it's really effective and really lovely. And then that's the back she made into a patchwork cushion. I was really happy with that, and my eldest daughter claimed it as soon as it came home with me. She said, "I'll take that," and it's been in her room ever since. So I'll leave the details for Carina's book down below so you could check it out as well. It is really fun. Thank you, Carina. So next up, I was fortunate enough to be in Mollie Makes. This is issue 87. And I did the Constellation cushion. Shiny lights. Either too much light or not enough. Anyways, one of their quick makes, a Constellation cushion, embroidery, and there it is. So the idea was to have a dark navy velvet cushion with metallic thread, which is really fun to stitch up, but awful to photograph. Boy, it was hard for me to get a nice, decent picture of that with gray English days. So this was a secret project for quite a while, so I couldn't talk about it for a while, but oh, that's really, oh my goodness, that's doing quite a bit to the, see, it is hard to photograph and film. So I'll just keep it back here for you. So I chose Orion because it's my favorite constellation, and it was very, very simple stitches. So like running stitch, no French knots or anything, just very basic. So very, very beginners could try it out. Metallic thread is crazy to work with anyway. It could be really stiff and not easy. So it is probably the best thing for the metallic thread as well. But it's really easy pattern and just connecting the dots basically. But it was a great fun to make, and yeah, I was really pleased that I was asked to be included in that, so thank you. And this is another one that my eldest daughter has grabbed and has in her room as well. Basically any cushion that I make, I only see it when I go into her room. With the new year coming, lots of people get very reflective and start looking at their lives and reevaluating things and coming up with resolutions and intentions and new words and very introspective. And so I was trying to think of something. I don't want to do loads of resolutions. The crafty resolution with monogamous crocheting and knitting is fine, but I didn't want one big resolution of like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, you know. But I did think about how my past year's been going and what I wanted to look forward to and what I wanted to change for the better. And so I started thinking of just little words, and one of the first things that popped into my head was slow down, because I am always going and going and going and talking very fast, and I just burn out now and again. And you just need to sit still for a day or two and not do much of anything. And so actually, if I just slow down a little bit every day and take a breath and notice things around me and don't feel like I always have to be doing this or doing that or cleaning, cooking, and blah, blah, blah. You all know what I mean. Just pause and take stock and just breathe and enjoy. And all this led to me thinking, well, I should write that down so I see it every day. And I thought, well, writing it down is a bit boring. I should actually stitch it. And so I came up with what I'm calling a good intention hoop. So this is what I did. I wrote slow down. I stitched it on some vintage linen fabric full of slubby goodness and holes and this and that, worn out, just like me, worn out. And then I just couched some thread around it to look kind of like willowy twigs, and just did some, did some ribbon roses. I used some silk ribbon. And I actually really love how this turned out, and I want to do more, because of course I was making a little list of words, and slow down was the top one, then breathe, smile, laugh, all the words that you see, good intentions. I still have to finish the back, which I'll do. Anyway, I thought this would be a really nice stitch along. Similar to the herb embroidery stitch along I did my little video tutorials for. I thought it'd be really nice to have for this year, good intention stitch along is what I'm calling it. And I'm going to do a series of little video tutorials separate from this podcast. And anybody who wants to join in, I'll teach you all the different things you need to learn to do something similar to this. And you can stitch your own word, your own intention. You can use one of the ones that I have. And we'll have some nice and good intention hoops to keep reminding us every day. Because when I do see this, I slow down for a minute. I think it's just keeping it in mind. So one of the first things I'm doing, I've started a new one. And it's going to say go outside. So I will do a separate video on how to get ready to do it, like the things you need to do. You certainly don't need a vintage sheet, a vintage linen sheet. You could use any fabric. And I'll kind of give a little kit list that you need. Not very much is needed at all. Probably what I'll do is not do silk ribbon roses. I'll do just regular roses using just embroidery floss, because it's kind of tricky to get silk ribbon sometimes, and I don't want to exclude anyone. I want you to know that you could use just embroidery floss. And then down the line I might do something more about silk ribbon, but it's, like I said, it's kind of tricky to get it, so I don't want to make anybody feel like they can't do something. So I have that as a basis, but then I'll teach about how to couch the threads around, and then we'll do a few very simple stitches. There's maybe 3 or 4 stitches in this bit. I just clustered them all together. So it's very easy, very quick. Maybe, just a couple tutorials, and then we'll be done. So if you're interested, let me know, and we'll get that going very, very soon. Like I said, I've recorded doing this bit, so I'll kick that off very soon. Also, to that end, if you do want to join on, make sure you subscribe below, because then you'll get the prompt whenever I post a new video tutorial. You'll get it straight away and not have to keep checking back. So anyway, what good intentions would you have? What would you write in the middle? I mean, I could probably have 50 hoops on my wall with words that I need to just constantly keep in mind. But you know, if you had to pick one, what would it be? It's a good way to remind yourself something nice to do every day. And it's a good way to learn some basic embroidery stitches. So that's the main thing keeping me occupied with embroidery. So onward to what's happening at home. So like I said, it was all a bit crazy, hectic for December, like it is everywhere in the world, but all really good fun. I did a lot of singing. I roped in some of my friends to sing at Westdean College and Gardens, the Westdean Gardens down the road. They do a Christmas carol concert every year for their friends, the members of Westdean Gardens. And I have a friend who works there, so I do some singing for her and get some friends together to sing, and it is beautiful. The college itself, the building is amazing, and we had a really good time. And it was really nice because I got some crafty friends involved. I had some friends come along and sit in the audience, and Jules was there, my friend So Sweet Violet. She's talked about it in one of her Christmas podcasts, and yeah, she had a lot of fun. It was the first time she came to see me sing, first time she heard me sing, so it was quite funny because yeah, anyway, but it was really lovely having her there as well. It means a lot to me sometimes when certain friends and certain people are there. Enough about that. All the singing stopped when, after that concert, I finally succumbed to the cold that everyone was getting and was coughing and coughing and coughing, so I had to cancel a couple of singing things because I guess it was all sung out. But we were fine for Christmas. It was just the four of us in our pajamas all day Christmas Day. It was really cozy and fun, and then we were off to Norway for New Year's, and we went ice skating, we went skiing, ate a lot of waffles, enjoyed all the snow and knitting up in Norway. I love it there. And then New Year's came and went, and then we came back, and that was that. And actually, the day we flew back from Norway was the 18th anniversary of the day that I flew over to live in England with my now husband. Really, we were on the plane when I actually realized, I'm like, oh, what's the date? The 4th of January. Hey, this is when I came here to live. So it was really weird to be 18 years. And now January is all about cozy living and soups and stews and slow cooker food and playing games at home and having lots of fires in the wood burning stove and just all waiting out, hibernating a bit, ready for spring to come. Snowdrops are blooming now, so that's a good sign. And then Unravel's coming up in February. And like I said before, I'm going along with some friends and staying there with some friends where I'll probably pop over on Friday and then go Saturday and staying overnight because it's only 20 minutes away. But it's a bit of a big friendly gathering, so a bunch of us are spending the night just so we don't have to worry about coming home. So I think that's all for me today. I've got to get back to my Monogamous crochet and finish that shawl and my Monogamous knitting and work on that shawl and get some more video tutorials for the stitch along up. So I hope you have a really good week and weekend coming, and I hope to see you again really soon. Bye! Hold along, blah, 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 blah.